Hello friends, this is Professor Himanshu Deshmukh. So today we'll see what do you mean by projectile motion. Okay, so today is the introductory part of our projectile motion. So let's begin. Suppose imagine a car which is moving on a straight path or on a straight road. Now what will be the motion of that car? That car is moving in a straight line on the road, right? So the motion of that car is going to be known as the linear motion. Okay, so suppose similarly if we throw a stone from the terrace of a building, so now that stone under the influence of gravity, it will travel straight downward, right? So the motion of that particular stone will be also in a straight line, so that motion is also known as linear motion. Okay, but now suppose consider the example of a cricket match. Suppose there is a fielder who is standing at boundary line and he wished to throw the ball from that boundary line up to the wicket keeper. Okay, so now the path of that ball will it be a straight horizontal line? No. Will it be a straight vertical line? No. Then the path of that ball from fielder's position towards the wicket keeper's position, it is going to be a somewhat curved path, right? So see, if we use that particular example in a diagrammatic form, so suppose consider that fielder is standing at this particular position O, and the wicket keeper is standing at position A. So now if this fielder wants to throw this ball towards wicket keeper, will he throw in vertically upward direction? No. Why? What will happen? If he throws the ball vertically upward, that ball will come vertically downward at that position itself, right? Now will that fielder throw the ball in horizontal direction exactly parallel to x-axis? No. Why? Because it will not reach up to that position. Or if he wants to throw that ball horizontal, he will require a lot of force and a lot of velocity so that the ball will come at this position. Now what is the easiest way? This fielder will not throw the ball in horizontal direction as well as in vertical direction. He will throw the ball at a certain inclined angle, right? If he throws the ball at a certain inclined angle, then that ball will travel through such a path and then it will come towards the wicket keeper. Now understand that the fielder has thrown the ball in an inclined position with a certain velocity. Okay, suppose that velocity is u. So now this u velocity by which the fielder is throwing the ball, it is the combination of horizontal velocity as well as vertical velocity, right? That is why the ball is traveling in horizontal direction as well as vertical direction. That is why it is traveling through such a path. Now this path is a curved path, also popularly known as it is a parabolic path. Okay, and the motion by which the ball is traveling from fielder to the wicket keeper, it is not a straight path. It is not a horizontal straight path, neither it is a vertical straight path, it is a curved path, and this type of a motion of that particular ball is known as projectile motion. Okay, it is a curved path. The motion of that ball is not in a straight line, it is in a curved line, and this particular path is known as, or the motion is known as projectile motion. Okay, now there are various examples. For example, if a country wish to launch a missile towards other country, then that particular first country will have to launch that missile not in vertical direction, neither in horizontal direction, at a certain inclined direction, such that it travels horizontally as well as vertically, and it covers a path, or it traces the path of the shape of parabola, and then it comes and hits that particular second country. Okay, so this is another example of what do you mean by projectile motion. Now if we see this diagram, this path is known as path of projectile. That ball which is being traveling from fielder to wicket keeper, that ball is known as projectile, and this path is known as projectile motion. Okay, this path is also known as trajectory of that particular projectile. Okay, this u is the velocity with which that ball is thrown, and this velocity by which the ball is thrown, it is at an angle with the horizontal axis. This angle is alpha. So since this is an inclined force which is inclined at angle alpha, it can be distributed in two components, horizontal component and vertical component. Horizontal component is cos component, so it becomes u cos alpha. This is vertical component, it becomes u sin alpha. Okay. Now the horizontal distance which that ball travels which is nothing but the distance between fielder and wicket keeper. So this horizontal distance is known as range of that projectile. Okay. Now understand, projectile is nothing but the object which is traveling. Okay. In our case, the object is ball. So the range is the horizontal distance which that projectile travels. And this is the maximum height of the projectile. Okay. Which is the maximum height? In this case, it will be the center height. Okay. This is the maximum height which this ball or the projectile has attained. Okay. So this is the maximum height. Now if we see closely, there are these various parameters. There is velocity component, there is angle component, there is height component, and there is range component. So all these components are interrelated. Okay. If you change any one of the component, for example, if you change this angle alpha, height and range will automatically change. Right. If you change the value of velocity, this angle, this range and maximum height, all these components will vary. So these variables are interrelated, and the relation between all these components or the variables is defined by certain formulas. So we will directly look at the formulas. First formula is the horizontal range of projectile. Okay, this is the horizontal range. Now what is the formula for horizontal range? Range is denoted by capital R. So what is the formula? R is equal to u square sine 2 alpha upon g. Now what is u? U is the velocity by which the projectile is launched or it is thrown. Now what is sine 2 alpha? Alpha is what? Alpha is the angle of this projectile, angle by which this projectile is thrown. So this is alpha. And what is g? G we all know, it is the acceleration due to gravity. Okay. So the formula for a range of projectile is R is equal to u square sine 2 alpha upon g. There is another formula in which the range maximum range, it is u square upon g. Okay. Now always remember that we will get the maximum range when we throw any object at an angle of 45 degree. Okay. I'll again repeat, we will get the maximum range. That means the ball will cover maximum distance when the fielder throws the ball at an angle of 45 degree. Okay. So whenever the angle is 45 degree, we will get the maximum range. So if we put the value of alpha to be 45, then this 2 alpha, that means 2 into 45, it becomes 90, and sine 90 we know it is 1. So we will get maximum range when this component becomes 1. So it is u square upon g. Okay. Now the second parameter is maximum height of projectile. So what is the formula? The height is represented by a capital H. So this is the maximum height. It is represented by capital H. So what is the formula? H is equal to u square sine square alpha upon 2g. Now we know what is u, what is alpha, and what is g. Okay. Now next formula is of time of flight of projectile. Time of flight. Okay. That means the time required for the ball to travel from from fielder up to the wicket keeper. What is the time required during this flight? So that is the time of flight. So the formula for time of flight is t is equal to, it is represented by small t, t is equal to 2u sine alpha upon g. Okay. Now suppose during this particular motion, okay, now in this case we have taken the entire range, okay, from the wicket keeper or from the fielder up to the wicket keeper. So we have covered the total distance and the total trajectory of that ball. Okay. But now suppose if I want to consider the position of the ball at say this particular point. Okay. So then what will be the relations between range and height? Okay. So it is shown in this particular diagram. Suppose the ball is thrown from this position. Okay. And it will travel in this direction, and again it will come and it will drop here, somewhere here. Okay. So now if during this flight we have taken this particular position P. Okay. Now at this particular position, the range, suppose we have considered x, and the height we have considered y. Okay. So now what is the relation between this? The relation between this is shown by a very popular equation which is known as equation of the path of projectile. Okay. Now what is that equation? Y is equal to this. Y means height. Height is equal to x tan alpha minus g by 2 in bracket x upon u cos alpha whole square. Okay, so this is very important equation, and this is the equation of the path of projectile. Okay, we'll see this equation in much detail while solving the numerical. That time this concept will also get much clear. Okay, so now these are the basic 4 formulas. Now, along with these 4 formulas, there is one another concept. The 5th concept, that is the velocity and direction of projectile after some time interval. Okay, so now in this particular example, so now suppose if we assume that when the fielder is throwing the ball towards wicket keeper, it takes 10 seconds to travel. Okay, so this 10 seconds, it will be the time of flight, right? So this is the time of flight. So suppose in this case the time of flight is 10 seconds, but suppose I want to know that if the time of flight is 10 seconds, what will be the velocity and direction at suppose 3 seconds, right? So that fielder will throw the ball, and suppose in first 3 seconds it will reach somewhere here. Okay, for example, after 10 seconds it will reach to this position, but say after 3 seconds it will reach somewhere here. Now at this particular position, if I would want to know what will be the velocity and direction of that ball, then there is a specific formula to calculate the velocity and direction of that ball at this particular position. It is shown here. Okay, so it is velocity and direction of projectile after some time interval. So our time interval of flight was 10 seconds, and after some time, that means we have considered it for 3 seconds. So if we see this particular diagram, this is our position of the fielder. He is throwing the ball, and suppose after 10 seconds it will reach here, but at suppose 3 seconds it is reaching here. So at this particular point, the velocity is this v. Okay, it will be different from this velocity. Okay, initially the velocity will be more, then the velocity will decrease. So this velocity will be different than this particular velocity. So this velocity is represented by v at this position. Okay, suppose this is the position p. Okay, so at position p, after 3 seconds, this will be the velocity and this will be the direction theta. Okay, the position of this particular projectile at this point, it will be theta. Okay, the direction will be theta and the velocity will be v. Note that this v and theta will be different than u and alpha. Okay, so now what will be the value of v and theta? It is represented by this particular formula. So the velocity and direction of projectile after some time interval, v is equal to under root u square plus g square into t square. Okay, so we have included the time period. So in this case, our example, we have considered it 3 seconds, so the time will be 3 seconds. Minus 2u sine alpha into gt. So this will be the velocity of that particular projectile after some time interval. Okay, and similarly this is the velocity and direction. So what will be direction? Direction, the formula for direction is tan theta is equal to u sine alpha minus gt upon u cos alpha. Okay, and what is theta? It is that direction, and direction means the angle which the projectile makes with the horizontal at this position. Okay, at this position, this is the angle which this projectile is making with the horizontal axis. So this is theta. Okay, so these are another formulas in which we have calculated velocity and direction of projectile after some time period. So this was all the basics of projectile motion. Now understand that there are derivations also involved for finding out all these formulas. So I am not going into detail of the derivation because that is not required considering engineering mechanics subject. For solving all the numericals, you can directly solve it with the help of all this formula. Okay, so I request everyone to kindly summarize these formulas, make a separate note and learn these formulas. We will require these formulas while solving numericals. So I hope you have understood the basics of projectile motion. From in upcoming videos, we will solve some numericals involved in projectile motion. Okay, so I hope you have understood everything. Thank you.